Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to make simple, basic, excellent cornbread. Just a basic start, and then you can add to it what you want. But before we even start mixing up ingredients, we're going to make it in an iron skillet. You can see here I've got my favorite iron skillet, and it's about a big dollop of Crisco in there, maybe 2 tablespoons. And we're going to put that in a cold oven and let it heat up with the oven. And then we'll put the cornbread in a hot skillet, and that grease will be hot. It'll be almost fried. So I'm going to slip this in there. The oven's going to preheat up to 400 with the skillet in there from the start. So I'll give that a minute, and then I'll start mixing up the ingredients, and we'll pour it in and bake it, and it'll be amazing. Okay, we're back. The oven's at about 340, so by the time I get done mixing the ingredients, the skillet will be hot. We'll pour it in, and off we'll go. So this is a basic cornbread. And we're going to do all-purpose flour. We're going to do this in real time, so there's not a lot of prep, although most of the ingredients are right here. So again, I explained the sifter in my biscuit video. I don't often use a sifter, but I do like to use a sifter when I use baking powder or baking soda to make sure there's no clumps. So that's about a cup of flour. We're going to put about 2 teaspoons of baking powder. It doesn't need to leaven itself as much as the biscuits do. Maybe about 3/4 teaspoon of soda. We're going to sit that right quick, and then we'll put the cornmeal in there, and that'll be the base. All right. So that's about a cup of flour, and we're going to put about a cup of standard yellow cornmeal, nothing fancy. So it's going to be about 50-50 flour to cornmeal. All right, so salt. I forgot salt. Salt is key, otherwise it'll be bland. So we'll go about almost a teaspoon of salt, maybe not quite. I'm going to just whisk that together quickly with the wire whisk. All right, and I got an egg, and I've got a little, maybe that's 2 tablespoons of butter. I forgot to melt that. So we're going to melt that real quick in the microwave. Just takes 15 seconds or something. The egg in. Just one. And the butter should be done. And we're going to use soy milk, since we're drinking soy milk around here these days. And there's really no difference. I think I've made biscuits with soy milk, and I've made breadsticks with soy milk, and I'm not sure we can notice a difference. Like I said in the biscuit video, what would really be really good in here is buttermilk. But I often don't buy buttermilk, so we're going to go with the soy milk. So I got the egg in there. I'm going to put about, that was about a half a cup of milk. And that was all of that container, so I got a new one opened here. Put another, maybe that's about a third of it. It's going to wind up being probably about a cup of liquid. And again, you can put it in, but you can't take it out, so I'm just going to put a little bit in there at a time, although that looks about right, actually. So you can see that's in between thin and thick. And I'll just pop the melted butter in there. That's just going to give it a little bit of flavor and a little bit of saltiness. And that's pretty much it, although depending on how sweet you like your cornbread, some people like it pretty sweet, some people like it really sweet. We're going to, now my sugar's all clumpy, so I'm going to use my bare hand and break up the clumps. That's about... we're going to wind up with about a third of a cup of sugar in there. All right. It'll be a little bit on the sweet side, perhaps. You never know. Remember, you got to keep cooking to art, not engineering. Once you start measuring everything and being precise. All right, that's it. Right there. That's the basic cornbread recipe. You could put an actual can of corn in there. You could put cheese. You could put chilies. You could put diced up cooked bacon. You can take it anywhere you want to, but I've got some chili. some beef and beans cooking tonight, so this will be just a basic cornbread recipe. Will go just fine with that. Now, the hot skillet is in the oven with the hot Crisco in it. Be bad to reach in there with your bare hand. And let me put it here where you can see it, or I know you can see it. So there's that big dollop of Crisco in there is you know, preheated with the oven, and it's hot. And I lost my rubber spatula. Now I found it. Now it's gonna sort of, if you can see that and hear it, it's almost sizzling already. Well, it is sizzling already. It's gonna go kind of fry and bake at the same time. It really makes it a nice crust, and it'll come out nicely. Get it in the oven right away before it cools off too much. That's gonna be 12, 13, 14 minutes, and it'll be amazing. I'll plop it out upside down from the skillet onto a cooling rack, and we'll cut it up on a cutting board. So I'll check back in with you when it's out of the oven. All right, everybody, we're back. It's looking nice and brown on top. It's been 15 minutes or so, I think. I'm not actually sure on the timing. I just like to watch it. Make sure it's not undercooked. Nothing worse than bread or cornbread or whatever that's gummy in the middle. So it's nice and brown on top, and you saw it went into a kind of a piping hot skillet, so no worries that it's not done. I haven't taken it out yet, so let's do this in real time. And voila. Looks pretty good. So the other chance we're going to take is flipping it over upside down on the cooling rack on live camera. So we'll hope it works. If it doesn't, I'll have to ease it out with a butter knife. So cooling rack like that, try not to burn my hand off. And out it came. We got lucky. It's nice and brown on the bottom, and nice and crusty, and it crisped up just about perfectly. So I'm going to leave it right there and let it cool for probably 5 or 10 minutes before I cut it up, and should be a good one. So remember, that's just a basic recipe, and you can take it in any direction you want with actual corn, cheese, chilies, bacon, all the above. It would all be good. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next one. We're not sure what you'll see on Dave's Open Range, but you can tune in and see. See you next time.